Hey everybody, James Robert Elliot here, and I have Angelic Marnier, my special guest for today. Welcome, Angelique.
Thank you. I appreciate being on here. I'm excited actually.
Me
This is a
too.
great way to, just like we said, jumpstart 2022. Like I'm here for
Exactly.
it.
Just like we're doing. Exactly. So today, Angelique and I are going to talk about some ways you can jumpstart 2022 quickly. That way, it's not going to be another 2022. Get it? It was funny in my head. Anyways, it was way funny in my head. So, what are some of the top tips that because we have a lot of stuff we can talk about today. What are
Yeah.
some of the things you start with, Angelique, and what do you want people to know that to really rock it ahead and get started really quick in 2022?
Yeah, I think the best way, and again, thank you for allowing me to be on your platform. I
Yeah,
appreciate it. I'm excited. I'm pumped up for 2022.
amazing.
And one of the things I would say just to get it jump started was, just regular old pen to paper. Like, what do you even want to accomplish? Like, what's the big audacious, hairy goal that you would like to accomplish this year? That's
Right.
where I start. If there's a dollar amount you want to make in your business, or a health goal. There's so many things that we can do. Even spirituality, all these things that we can just go ahead. And I just like to take pen and paper, and it's old fashioned,
Yep.
but it's nice when you have something to look at. You can type it up later, but it's just nice to get the thoughts like, and I would like to get healthier. Let me write that down. Or I would like to make more money, or I would like to
Yeah.
start a new business. So these are the things, and then at least you have something to look at, and you can start putting it together, but at least you got something.
Fair enough. Versus, I want to lose weight. Well, how much and by when?
Yeah.
And actually that will probably prelude us into smart goals. But to your point,
Yeah.
there's some wild statistic. It's like 95% of people in the world don't have a set concrete goal. And I think
Right.
96, 97% of people don't write it down, and then
Right.
99% of people don't have an actual plan or and I caveat plan because, as you know, the first thing to get thrown out the window in a war is the plan, or in a battle, or in
Right.
is the plan, right? But I do like the acronym. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail, because you
Yeah.
have no idea what you're going to do, what you need to do, where you need to go, what kind of marketing you're doing. Marketing is
Yeah.
huge. I mean, you teach a really kick-ass course on how to create an online course. Right,
Yeah.
you teach people how to create an online course, which is amazing. And
Yeah.
again, you need that plan. You need to at least have an idea of what you want, what you're going to do, how you're going to do it, who you're going to help. But I think it's also important to note that people get hung up. Yes, have a plan, but people get hung up on either not creating goals or having a goal and not starting, not executing,
Yeah.
because they think they need to know exactly how they're going to get there or exactly what they're going to do. And I even gave you that pilot analogy, whether a pilot, whether he or she, has a plan, they have a flight plan to get to New York to LA,
Uh-huh.
but they don't necessarily know exactly, or the plan is not going to be exactly how they're going to get there. They're going to correct
Right.
for weather and birds and altitude and turbulence and leaping gazelles or whatever the
Yeah.
pilots have to compensate for, right? I mean, weather, turbulence, you name it, right? Other airplanes, they go around, up and down. So I think it's important, to your point earlier about smart goals, and I'll let you talk about smart goals as well, but also not worrying that knowing exactly how I'm going to get there, because well, you'll never know that, and
Right.
exactly how,
Yeah.
right? I mean, have you found that when you take action, you take the first few steps, that the next steps after that either are revealed to you, or they're different from what you thought initially? What are your thoughts on that? What do you find?
I think both a lot of times, right? So a
Yeah.
lot of times, yeah, you start off with the goal, and you find out, like you said, life can happen, or
Yeah.
maybe you start to do something, and yeah, you start to see results, and you amp it up even more. So I think
Yeah.
both
Yeah.
things can definitely happen. But it's nothing like when you start seeing your goal come to fruition, or you're getting closer. And even, I'll be honest, a lot of times I don't even hit my goal. Like, I'll make these big goals and I don't hit them, but I hit something. Like, at least I saw myself go from here to there, which is
Yeah.
much further than I was if I
Yeah.
just stayed here and never made a goal. So,
Yeah.
and then maybe the next year I'll actually hit that goal, and that's a big accomplishment. But
Yeah.
bottom line, even if you don't hit the goal, what they say, aim for the stars, and even if you hit the moon, you're good. So
Exactly. You're still good. Well, yeah,
yeah.
you've grown, and that's a great point. In fact, and you and I were talking about this before the podcast about, do you have unrealistic goals? Like Tony Robbins
Yeah.
says, have wildly unrealistic goals. Most people, they're not motivated because they have impotent goals, right? They don't have energizing, motivating
Yes.
goals. But other people say, be realistic. And there's that SMART goal framework, specific, measurable, achievable, timed. Did I screw that up? SMA.
Yeah, realistic.
Achievable and measurable.
Time
Thank
down.
you. Measurable and timed. So I think that's important, but also I think you agree with me when you were talking earlier about you don't want it too realistic because that's boring. That's not motivating. That people don't achieve big things. Did Elon Musk have reasonable and realistic goals? Hell no.
No.
Right?
No.
And that's not how you get big. It's not how you go big.
Yeah.
So it's interesting whether you 3x it or you 10x it or
yeah, we were
100x
talking about that. Like which spectrum do you go for? And I think I am more on the mind shift of just go big, go all the way big. I am in that. I've done that several years. Again, I didn't hit the goal though, so I don't know how that hits my self-esteem and stuff like that. So I think there's a push pull to it, but I have seen that I have made certain goals, and maybe the next year or the year after that I did hit it. So just depends. But I agree. I don't think Elon Musk or Michael Jordan, Beyonce, I don't think they made realistic goals. Like, hey, I just want to, I just want to put in one album out, Beyonce. No, I don't think that she ever said that.
She was no, exactly.
Yeah. So, hey, go big or go home, in my opinion.
Well, and that's the thing, and I think when people worry about not getting to a goal, they think it's bad. That's if you made a big goal, if you made a crappy goal, then okay, that's different. But if you make a big huge goal, I don't think it's a bad thing if you don't get it, because the only thing we can't control is time. We can't make more time. We can't control time, and we can't yet anyway speed it up or slow it down or go back. However, you can control everything else: your thoughts, your behaviors, your actions, your inactions, your helping others, your business. You can control everything else. The only thing we can't control is time. So to your point, I think it's better to dream big. I'd agree with you, because even if you don't hit it this year, now, okay, what didn't work this year? What didn't work? What do we need to do more of? And what do we need to do less of? Or what new things do I need to do? I think that's great. And maybe you'll hit it the following year or the following month or the following week, depending what your goal is for. So I think you have a really good point about that, to dream big and aim big, because it excites you versus, well, I'd like to make another $10,000 this year. Okay, maybe that excites some people. I mean, it would excite me. Really, great. I made 10K, sure. But it's I want to go big. I want to achieve big things, help a lot of people, and empower a lot of leaders in the world, and have a big impact. So that's the big thing. So let's talk about execution as well, because that's
the big one.
It is huge. Nothing happens without action, and you and I are chatting about this. So I mean, this is often the part, of course, as you know, that separates the winners from the I guess I'll say non-winners or non-achievers. What are your thoughts on execution? What are your thoughts around execution?
I think that is the coup de grace. Like, I think that is where the rubber meets the road. So I did say write down the goal, right? But you also have to have some actionable items to get you to the goal. So execute. Like, you really have to take action. It really separates the people who make it from those who don't. Because if you are continuously on the sidelines, or just sitting, or thinking about it, or I'm going to do it tomorrow, man, it's never going to happen. I mean, I haven't seen one person be successful because they just, they meditated and then they didn't take some type of, you got to do something. Like, you can't just expect to, I know a lot of people believe in The Secret and, things of that nature, but it still takes some type of action, right? You can't just will it into your life and expect, you can't just expect, oh, okay, well, I'm just going to keep eating cupcakes and burgers, but I'm going to say my affirmations like we said. And wait, what? It doesn't really work like that. So I think that execution, taking action every single day towards your goal, is the way that you'll see results.
I agree. And I'll touch that point, because it's a great point. You talked about The Secret. I think The Secret is actually missing a secret, and that it is action. It is execution. Because you're right. You can visualize, which I think is great. You can program your reticular activating system, your brain's pay attention, and your brain's go-getter system. You can program that by visualization. And yes, in the morning and before you go to bed, take 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. just when you wake up and just before you go to bed, to visualize the things you want. It doesn't have to take long, but visualize the most
Okay.
important things you want to create, and having them, achieving them, and that'll program your brain to go get them. Um, but it's still, like you said, you can't just do that and have your arms out waiting for that perfect lover or perfect man or woman to fall in your arms, or the money to fall in your wheelbarrow that you're holding in the backyard. It does take that action. And here's a question: what do you think is the biggest reason people don't take action, and they play they play in the stands versus playing on the court?
Right.
And you don't win the game in the stands, you win on the court.
Yeah, because it takes inertia, right? It takes energy. It takes you getting up out. And nobody, I mean, if we think about it, most of us just want to be lazy. And yeah, we want, but it does take you going to the gym, or it takes discipline, stop eating the bad food, or it does take you getting uncomfortable and actually putting yourself on social media and telling people and marketing. Like, it does take you being vulnerable and telling people your story. Like, I help people create courses. But if you're like, if you're a great mom, you may have gone through some bad things to get you to become a great mom. Maybe you didn't have the greatest mom, but it takes that story and being vulnerable, and people don't want to be uncomfortable. And I'll say the same thing. Yeah, I don't want to, be uncomfortable either. I don't want to, when I first started in social media, a couple of years ago, I had hardly any followers. I had no following at all. I had to start from zero, and I wasn't used to doing these types of things. And I didn't want to do it. Very uncomfortable, very scared. Like, what are people going to say? What are people going to, because I come from corporate America. So I thought all the people from corporate America, I'd be like, who does she think she is? You don't know how to create course, so it's all these things going on in your head, into your heart. And so, it's easier to just watch Netflix, like,
or to pretend we're working, or pretend we're doing things, or
it's easier to take the webinars. When I first started online, I took every webinar there was to get prepared, and watched so many YouTubes to get prepared. And I was fooling myself into thinking I was taking action because I was, getting the knowledge, but I never executed on it. And so if you're on the sidelines, or if you're YouTubing it, or you're waiting, or you're scared, I would say just take one step, just post one thing, or, reach out to one uncomfortable person, or, just for one day, eat vegetarian food, and then maybe you can start Monday, maybe you can do it again Tuesday. But I would say you got to take some type of step. And that's the reason that we all could be probably greater than we are, but we just haven't gotten uncomfortable enough.
That's the thing. And that's such an interesting word. I hear people often say to me, well, James, that would make me uncomfortable. And I say, great, great. Do you think you're going to be successful by being totally comfortable the whole time? It's not the way it works. And I think what a lot of people either forget, or don't know, or are forgetting, is that discomfort means growth. When you're uncomfortable, you are growing. And so I aim to be uncomfortable every single day. I do something, anything big or small, that makes me uncomfortable. It's like working out; it builds that muscle, and now your discomfort biceps are huge. And you can do a podcast, or a speech, or walk up and ask someone out, or ask for call a corporate leader, or whatever it is you want to do. It's that building that your action taking biceps, right, and that your discomfort biceps. Versus not. And to your point, instead of watching YouTube, get on YouTube. Start a show, or create some value, put some content out there in the world. And I think that one of the number one things people, well, at least for me, is either failure or looking bad. What do you think are some of the reasons why people don't? Because if they knew 1,000% they'd be successful, they'd probably go do it. What do you think tends to limit people and keep people out of action? What causes this discomfort? Why do they not act when most people know they should be on YouTube, or promote, or go networking, or better, or work out, or be confident, be assertive, speak their voice, speak their power? What do you think holds them back, Angelic?
I think it's what you said. I think it is fear that you're going to fail. Because I work with a lot of women to help them create online courses, and that's their biggest fear is, hey, Angelic, what if it doesn't work? What if nobody buys? What if, I don't want to put this out there and everybody laugh at me. So there's that. And then there's also, we've all been wounded. I've started businesses and they failed. That is enough to make you say, I don't want to do that again. It hurt. I lost money. I had to go back to corporate America. I had to be embarrassed in front of my family. Like, who wants to do that again? So yeah, both of those things, fear of the unknown and fear of the known. Like, I've already done this before.
Fair.
But bottom line, typically though, if you get somebody like, like James or myself, and you have a coach to walk you through it,
Exactly.
there is a high propensity that you will be successful, because we've already made the mistakes.
Yep.
We
Lots of them.
figured out how to not
Lots
make those mistakes. So let us have bumped our elbow, bruised our knee, hurt ourselves. We've already done that for you. So we'll show you how to not go through that. So yeah, that's what I would say. What would you say kind of leads to it?
I think you're right, and to your point, Angelique and I, guys, have spent the hundreds, and literally, I'm not exact, hundreds of thousands of dollars on stuff that doesn't work, or at least some that has worked, or it's worked somewhat, or at least learning lessons. So that's why I love mentors, coaching, foundation, and getting the foundations, which is, I teach you the foundations to be successful in your business, in your life. Angelique teaches the foundations of creating a kick-ass online course and having people actually come to it, because you want the course, but you want people to come as well.
Yeah.
To your point, though, I mean, again, people are afraid of failure, and it's just a temporary state where the most valuable lessons are learned, right? And now, of course, you can have a lot less failure when you hire a mentor like yourself to show someone how to create a course and market it and make it kick ass and have people love it, versus, well, I think I'm going to try this all on my own. And there's no self-made billionaire or millionaire. We people that are successful, we have teams, we have people, we have colleagues as well. And I think you're right. It's that it is the fear of failure, or the fear of failing again, or, well, this happened, that means I'm blank, or that means I'm not blank, or that means I can't, or it won't work. We just got finished talking about some of the stuff with me when I was younger, and in math, a lot of failures in math class, in math, and teachers not even wanting to mark my work. They're like, stop, take this away. I don't even want to mark this anymore. I mean, imagine what that did to me as a kid.
Yeah.
And we all have those traumas that and events that prevent us from taking action. So my also thought is to look at those, and that's something we can do in my foundational course, but to look at those, because those will hold you back. You can't out affirmation your way out of a big limiting belief, or a big block, or programming that's been given to you by your parents, or culture, society, religion, you name it, about who you should be, who you have to be, who you can't be. You've been programmed for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years and beyond. It's extremely hard to out affirmation yourself out of those deep-seated beliefs without some of the core tools. Luckily, we have those tools, right? And they exist. It can be very challenging, though. But I think it is, the fear of failure, the fear of negative feelings, the fear of looking bad. And guys, if you want to be successful, you would literally have to stop caring about looking bad. You have to stop worrying what someone, this is going in a different direction, this talk today, and I thought it would. You have to stop caring and worrying what people think about you. Be okay screwing it up. Be okay not getting it perfect. For the love of God, try not to be perfect at anything, because it'll never happen. B, it's a recipe for anxiety and stress. C, it's a recipe for failure, because nothing will be perfect. And the more you try to change it, usually we muddle it up and make it worse anyways. Right? And it'll never be perfect anyways. It'll always be improving. The first time I did a podcast was not perfect. The first time I did a speech or a training, far from perfect. I look back at past videos and I'm like, ugh, however I did it. I started. I was willing to screw up and I'll say air quotes, look bad.
Okay.
Yeah, but the reason I air quote it is because you don't have to worry. If you're aiming to help people and serve like you are, Angelic, like I am, like people are out there, if you're aiming to serve and help, avoid worrying about looking bad. It doesn't matter. You're out there to serve and make a difference. Who cares if there's a few haters, if someone really puts you down or laughs at you for doing and trying and doing something they didn't do? Right. And that's usually the people that put us down, right? I mean, the people that don't do. It's not the doers. It's not the people that, oh, yeah, sorry, I tried it too. I've gone through that. Try this, try that. The people that have done it don't make fun or put you down. It's the people that haven't done it and they're not going to do it. That's who puts you down and makes fun of you and judges, right? And trolls and hates on people online. It's the people that don't do it. They can't do it. They won't do it. They can do it. They just won't do it or haven't done it. So that's the question. That's a big one. That was an interesting direction too. But I think it's important.
Necessary.
Well, it's true. And what have your lessons been around? Let's keep that trajectory going around failure. What have your lessons been around the whole failure thing and things that don't work out? Because I think a lot of people they don't want to fail, which is not, it doesn't work. If you don't want to fail, you're not going to be successful because there is going to be some failure. Look at riding a bike or learning to walk. You're going to fall. But you get there. So what are some of your lessons been about failure and you, to
Yeah.
your point, some of the setbacks you've had yourself? How have you taken that and transformed that?
Yeah, no, great question. So yeah, I come from a corporate background. I just was really kind of over it. And I went for a like a regular routine physical exam or whatever, and I was told I had high blood pressure, hypertension.
Oh,
And yeah, and I'm in my 30s, like it's not like so and it's because I was totally stressed out at my job. So I had to figure out a way to get out. And how do you get out of a 9 to 5 that you've had forever and you're making good money? So it's just like, so I tried, James, when I say I tried everything online, I tried drop shipping, I tried affiliate marketing, I
oh,
tried network marketing, I even tried doing life insurance. Like I tried
oh wow.
so many
Wow.
things and I didn't make a dime. And I was spending all this money charging up credit card, trying to figure it out.
Mm,
Uh, so what I learned that, I definitely learned to be resilient. You learn to be very, very resourceful.
mhm.
And you learn like when your back is up against the wall, it's like, okay, well, if people talk about me, that's okay. And if, and I got to make this work. So I
Yeah,
think that sometimes when your back is up against the wall and you failed so many times, yeah, you can give up, you can stop, or, or you
or not.
can figure out what were the lessons I learned. Okay, I
Yeah,
spent too much money on that. Yeah. Okay, I really didn't take action. Really, I was just busy being busy.
yeah,
Okay, so I got to start taking action. Okay, I need to get a coach. I need to get help.
yeah, yeah,
I do. I need to get, and I need to take a couple of courses. I do need to take, and I need to get my chops, but I need to maybe spend some money on these courses
yeah.
instead of these free webinars so that,
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah,
so that
yeah,
I am like, hey, I spent, I spent $1,000 on this. I got to make a return on that. So these are the lessons that I learned from all those failures. And in retrospect, it's okay. But at that time, it felt really crappy. It was, I remember being in my bed one time, like, nobody likes me online. I can't seem to make it. This is not working. Everybody makes it sound really simple. And it wasn't that simple. It wasn't simple for me. It seemed like everybody else was, making
sure.
six figures and becoming millionaires overnight. And I wasn't. So what's wrong with me? And so after a while of seeing other people, that being more transparent and letting us know,
Mm,
like, yeah, it didn't work out for me like that. So you feel a little bit better. And like you said, you are kind of you're building up your muscles. Every time you fail, again, the lessons are there. Like, okay, well, don't do that, or this didn't work. But hey, this one thing kind of did work. Let me keep going with that.
yeah. Well, that's
So yeah, that's kind of what I learned from the failures, and I'm still learning from them now, still trying to
sure.
get better every single day. Everything I put out there doesn't work either. So I'm always, augmenting and pivoting.
Yeah, no, I echo that. And not everything works. And if someone does hate you or slander you or bug you or bash you, it means you're doing something. It means people talk about
Yeah.
people that are up to something. So
Yeah.
great. You have haters, great. It means you're doing something versus hiding in a cave or pretending to work.
Right.
That's a whole nother podcast. But it's so I think the big things here are be willing to fail fast, take action, execute, learn from failures and keep going and never ever give up. Never. I mean, Edison took over 2,000 times to build a working light bulb, right? I mean,
Right.
Elon Musk, he blew up three or well, more than three, but initially three starships. He was on the end of funding, and he had, I believe, it was the fourth rocket launch worked, and even since then, he's had many of his rockets blow up. But he keeps going and he's winning, and there's no one can
He's
debate that
winning.
Elon Musk is up to some big things. So it's again, we talked about visualization. Program your brain for what you want. Visualize once or twice a day, preferably twice, what you want. 5-10 minutes is all it takes.
Okay.
Look at your beliefs. What are your beliefs? What are those beliefs that have been programmed into you? Is this good, or is this bad, or is this hard, or did someone tell you to be average, or keep your head down, or just work hard, or get a good stable job, or whatever the bullshit we're told? And look
Yeah.
at your beliefs as well, because you'll need to work on your beliefs. And look at, there's no failure, there's only feedback. And really think, if you're afraid, are you thinking this won't work for me, or will this work for me? Are you really focusing on that versus, well, what if this works? What if
Right.
even part of it works? What if it works a little bit? Then can I zig and zag and make it work better and better and better? What if it works? What if it works wildly well?
Right.
And I think you're right that we have to be really careful looking at other people and making all this money and all this girls and
Yeah.
cars and boys and this and that and trips and travel and all this stuff.
Yeah.
I think we got to be careful, because a lot of that is bullshit. Not all of it. I think a lot of it is bullshit. Or they're like a 10-year overnight success. It's not that boom, they're all of a
Yeah.
sudden they just put a website up and they're
Right.
like you and I have gone through the grind, and then you eventually crack that code to the safe, or you find that magic key, and boom, then you rocket ahead. So I
Yeah.
want people to be cognizant of that a lot of people are also 10-year overnight successes. It's not
Yeah.
just they're making millions right off the bat.
Yeah.
Right.
I
So
agree.
I think that's important.
And it also depends on who you're surrounding yourself with.
Thank you, thank you. That's let's tie up with that one. Let's finish off with
Yeah.
that one. Why is environment so important, and who you're surrounding yourself with?
And I'm just saying, like, hey, if you're around, if you're around people who are Debbie Downers or have no goals, it's
Yep.
really hard for you to, you could be I know everybody on here that's going to listen to this has determination and is smart, but it's kind of like you said, particularly like if you continue to hear people say, well, that can't work, or you sure you want to do that? Or why would you even do that? Or, if you continue to hear that, that's going to feed into you. Now, you might have enough mental strength, but wouldn't it be a lot better to surround yourself with people like, hey, I did that and it worked, so it definitely can work for you? Or, hey, go for it. I'm going to be right here to cheer you on. Hey, and what can I do to help you out? Like, wouldn't you rather be in that environment versus,
Exactly.
somebody who's, doubting you? Who wants to be around
Doubting
that?
you or doubting themselves. Exactly. I mean, you're a direct reflection of the top 5 to 10 people you spend the most time with. So choose
Hey,
wisely, have boundaries. It doesn't
exactly.
mean you don't ever have to hang out with them again, but have boundaries, limit your time with them, choose wisely, and especially boundaries with family, because you can't fire your family.
Yeah.
But I think that's a great last point for us to tie out here. Your
Yes.
environment is key. You can do everything right, and if your environment sucks, it's going to be hard. So surround yourself with, you want to lose weight, go surround yourself with people who are eating healthy, or fitness people, or
Yeah.
outdoors, or hikers. You want to be successful business, go hang out with successful entrepreneurs, or at least entrepreneurs, people that think like you and who are up to something, taking action, doing the doing. You want to be a great corporate leader, hang out with other corporate leaders or people that are on track, or people that think big and want to achieve things, big goals. Make sure your environment will support you. I think that's a great last thought for us. So, Angelic, you do some really cool stuff. What you do is you help people create kick-ass online courses, whether it's a side gig or their main business, to expand what they do, to multiply their income so they can 3x or 10x or 100x, not just their income, but their time as well. That people are taking the courses while they're sleeping. You're available at Angelic at corporatecountdown.com or corporatecountdownchallenge.com. You have a challenge coming up people can get involved with as well.
Yes.
So I encourage them to come hang out with you. I was keeping an eye on one of the challenges one day. I saw you doing the challenge, how to create a kick-ass online course, guys. I encourage you to go check it on Angelic's course. Highly recommend it. You'll learn some things. Even if you're someone with a job, if you want a side hustle, make a few more bucks or some stability, or maybe this is the start into a kick-ass, your own business.
Yes.
Go check it out. Or you're an entrepreneur and you're just adding something else, wanting to multiply your time or get out of your own geographical locale. Check it out. CorporateCountdownChallenge.com. Angelic at CorpCountdown.com. I'm James Robert Elliott. This is Angelic Marnier. Thanks for joining us. Hope you guys had a blast.
Thank you, guys.